Brenda Glenn. The International Lifesavers are on top once again. So they're coming out swinging. So all the people that you heard on this call today, they're all in it to win it. They're all fighting to make it to round 2. And I want to congratulate each and every one of you. Great job to all of you. So now what I want to do today is I want to train you guys on the problem. The problem that we run into inside the home. The problem, not what we run into, but what the customers have. The problem the customers have is they have a false sense of security. And let's face it, before you knew about this, you had a false sense of security also. Before I knew about it, I had a false sense of security. I went to bed every single night with that alarm hanging over top of my children's head, my wife's head. My family had it over their heads. And we just believed in our heart of hearts, if it goes off when we cook, we felt confidently that surely it'll go off the night that we have a house fire. And, we say that in the presentation. That couldn't be further from the truth. There's a big difference from house fire smoke than from cooking smoke and steam from a shower and things of that nature. So what I want to do today is I want to let you hear me do an alarm kill. I want to do an alarm kill for you right now on what I say at that point of the presentation. So here we go. So the very first thing that I do is right before the alarm kill, I ask them, what do they know what kind of alarm they have? And most of the time, they say this, it came with my house or we don't know. So I like to stand up from the table right before I get the alarm kill out, the alarm manual out, and I like to walk over to the alarm and I'll point up at it and I say, okay, there it is, and I know exactly what you have now. Let's go back to the table and I'll explain it to you. Let me tell you why you need to do that. Here's why. Because if you don't do that, if you don't say I know exactly what you have, then they think you're talking about somebody else's alarm when you're doing the alarm kill. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard that on training when I go out in the field and I train people and I listen to them do their presentation and they don't take that step. They don't get up from the table. They don't go see what they have. And they assume, and that's a terrible word in our business, they assume the customer knows we're talking about their alarm. So listen to me. You want to get up from the table, and dealers that are on the call today, make sure you teach your people to make sure that they implement that in their pitch. All right? So now, once I get up from the table and I tell them this is the alarm that you have, come on back to the table and I'll tell you all about it. So we go back to the table and I say, okay, now this is the ionization alarm. This is the alarm that you have. And Carmen Glenn sitting right here with me, so I'm going to act like I'm in him and Brenda's house. So this is the alarm that you have, Carmen. This is the alarm that you have, Brenda, in your house. This is the alarm that you have hanging over top of your family, your son, Carmen. It's over his head every single night when you guys go to bed. It goes off when you cook. It goes off from steam from a shower. It just goes off just for any old reason sometimes, don't it? Oh, yeah, it does. It drives us crazy. Okay. Well, if you went to a store and you bought a brand new one, inside the box it would have the alarm, it would have the battery, and it would have this little piece of paper here. And this paper is the user's manual. Now, you won't believe what they say about your alarm in the user's manual. You won't believe what they say about what you have hanging over top of Carmen's head the night you guys have a fire. So let's get to it. The very first thing that it says right here, it says, according to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, an agency of the U.S. government, they may not go off. Let me repeat that little part right there. They may not go off. Now, what they're saying right there, Carmen, is saying your alarm may not go off or give early enough warning in as many as 35% of all fires. Carmen, let me ask you a question. How does that make you feel about what you have protecting your son, Carmen? He says not good. Tell me why. Tell me why you say it's not good.
I don't feel safe.
Why don't you feel safe?
Because I can't guarantee it's going to let me know what has to be done and it saves my son's life.
You can't guarantee it's going to let you know what has to be done to save your son's life. Now pause. I'm going to pause and I want you to pay attention. What he's saying when I say why and I'm asking him questions, I'm repeating his answers. Everybody write that down. Because when I repeat his answers, what it's letting him know is I'm listening to him, lets him know I care, and it also reiterates what he's saying. His wife is hearing me say that. His wife is hearing me repeat what they're saying. It's a powerful tool. So write down the word repeat. 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 Okay. So, then I would ask Brenda the same question. Brenda, how does that make you feel knowing that your son, little Carmen, has his alarm fail at 35% of all fires? How does that make you feel? And then she'll answer me. And then I'll say, and I'll repeat her answer. Do not forget to repeat their answer the same way they said it, word for word, okay? Now, once I'm done with that, okay, well, that's the first thing that I wanted to show you. I'll show it to them on the paper. It's highlighted right there. It's circled for you. All right, now, let's go to number 2. And number 2 is very important too, Carmen, because what it talks about here is it says where smoke detectors should not be put up. So right here, what they're going to do is they're going to list the places in your home where you should not put your smoke detectors in your home. So let's go through those. This says to avoid nuisance alarms, do not place detectors, and let's go through them. Here is one of them is kitchens. Don't put them in your kitchens. Carmen, can you have a fire in your kitchen? Absolutely, you can have a fire in your kitchen, and then here it tells you don't put them in there. All right? Next place it says don't put them in your garage. Could you have a fire in your garage? Absolutely, you can have a fire in your garage. It also says don't put them near your furnaces. Don't put them near your water heaters. Don't put them near your space heaters, or those items could catch fire, right? Why are they telling you don't put them near there? Isn't that crazy? And then you go on to the next part. It says don't put them in air streams passing by kitchens. Don't put them in damp areas. Don't put them in humid areas. Don't put them near bathrooms with showers. Don't put them in cold areas. Don't put them in hot areas. Don't put them in dust areas. Don't put them in dirty areas. Don't put them near fresh air vents. Don't put them in drafted areas. Don't put them in dead air spaces. Don't put them in insect-infested areas, and don't put them near fluorescent lights. So, Carmen, let me ask you a question. Where can you put your alarm? Nowhere, right? No. All right. Brenda, can you think of a place that we missed? Because Dusty pretty much covers every place in our house nowadays, right? And they always laugh, right? So let's recap this. Everybody, write that down. You want to recap. You want to do it over and repeat the steps that you're doing in this alarm kill. Don't just keep going through it. Repeat it. So here we go. Carmen, let's recap this. What percent does your alarm fail in your home? 35%. And Brenda, where can you put your alarm? Or more importantly, where can you not put your alarm? Can't put them anywhere. Carmen, right now, how confident are you feeling about your alarm in your home?
I don't.
You don't. Why do you not feel confident?
I can't put them anywhere, and where I can put them, they're going to fail up to 35% of the time.
Yeah, you can't put them anywhere, and where you do put them, they're going to fail 35% of the time. And let me ask you a question, Carmen. How long have you had your alarm hanging up in your home?
I wouldn't even know.
You wouldn't know?
I don't know. It could be 5 years, it could be 15 years.
Well, let me ask you a question. If you have an item, anything that's 5 or 10 years, do you think it's still acting the same then, or is it getting worse? It's getting worse. Yeah. So you don't even know what it's failing at now. Isn't that crazy? All right. So it could be even worse. So let's go to number 3. And Carmen, I'm going to be honest with you. When I seen this number 3, this disturbed me more than anything. This disturbed my wife more than anything, because I love my kids more than anything on this earth. And I can tell you're a great dad, and you love your son, Carmen, and you love your beautiful wife, Brenda, as well, right? So let's just read this number 3 to you. It says here, it says smoke detectors have limitations. Well, I think you've already figured that out, haven't you? You didn't even realize the limitations your alarm had. It says your smoke detector, it doesn't say your smoke detector, but it's your alarm manual. It says smoke detectors may not sense, and I'm going to repeat that, may not sense, Carmen, every kind of fire every time. I'm going to repeat it one more time and let it sink in to what I just said. Your son's smoke detector may not sense every kind of fire every time. What in the world did you even buy the thing to do? Did you buy it to detect some of the fires or all of the fires?
All of the fires.
You need to know about all the fires, right? Tell me why.
So I can protect my family.
So you can. That's right. You got to protect Carmen. Your number one job as a father is to protect Carmen. Your number one job as a husband is to protect Brenda. All right. Now let's keep going. It also says here, they cannot, not can. They cannot. They can't. They cannot be expected to sense dangerous fires. Now, Carmen, can you think of a friendly fire that you would love to have inside your house on any day? No, it says here they cannot be expected to sense dangerous fires caused by carelessness or safety hazards. And then it says they may not. That's very comforting, isn't it? They may not give early warning of fast-growing fires. I'm going to say that again. I want you to let that sink in. They may not give early warning of fast-growing fires. Now, Carmen, you and I both know, and Brenda, you and I both know as well, if you have a house fire, it's going to be fast. There's no such thing as a slow fire, especially when things start catching fire inside the house. They double in size every 30 seconds. So that's fast in my opinion. Is it fast in your opinion? Absolutely. So they got all this stuff covered in here. All right, so they may not give early warning of fast-growing fires caused by smoking in bed, violent explosions, escaping gas, poor storage of flammable liquids, overloaded electrical circuits, children playing with matches lighters, or persons who set fires on purpose. So let's recap this part. Your smoke detector has limitations. Your smoke detector may not sense every kind of fire every time. Your smoke detector cannot be expected to sense dangerous fires, and your smoke detector may not give early warning of fast-growing fires. Carmen, how you feeling about that? Me too. You and I both are very confused. You're scared. Now, what you just said is the same way I felt. Carmen, you said you're scared. Tell me why you're scared.
I can't trust my family being protected in their own house. I might not be able to get them out if I don't know about it.
You may not be able to get them out if you don't know about it. You can't protect your family. That's what you're saying right now is exactly how I felt 10 years ago when I learned about this problem. And it terrified me because I knew my job and my number one job is to keep my family safe. And I knew after seeing this my family was not safe. So let me read number 4 to you. The last thing I want to read, yes, there's more. I want to read one more thing on this thing, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit of a maintenance stuff that they talk about. It says they do not warrant or imply in any way. I'm going to repeat that to you again. They do not warrant or imply in any way that its smoke detectors will protect lives and property in the event of a fire. Homeowners and renters should be sure to insure their lives and property. Carmen, what are they saying right there?
You know, that you make sure you have insurance and that you can't guarantee you're getting out alive. But as long as you have insurance, that should be something nice.
Yeah, so what does insurance cover?
It covers new carpets, new walls, new furniture.
Yeah, covers new walls, new furniture, and stuff like that. What are these alarms designed to do? They're designed to do what for you and your family?
Our lives, cover our lives, save our lives. That's what I count on the alarm for.
These
Let me know about the fires so I can get in.
let you know about fires to let you get out. Now, after everything you've learned in the last, 2 or 3 minutes that we've been talking about this, do you feel confident? Let me just do it like this. 1 out of 10, 10 being the highest. How confident are you that the alarm that you have in your house will wake you up the night you have a fire? 3. Okay, now I've given you everything you need to know about these. Let's keep going in the presentation. Let me show you some families that have the same alarm that you have the night they have a fire. And then we go on to the next page. Okay, so guys, what we're doing when we do an alarm kill is you got to look at it from this standpoint. You are a prosecuting attorney. I want you to think like that. You're a prosecuting attorney, and the customers are the defense of their alarm inside their home. And your job is to prove it to them beyond a shadow of a doubt that what they have is not going to keep them safe. And if you don't do it to that level and to that level inside a home, if they're not 100% convinced that what they have is not going to wake them up the night they have a fire, why in the world would they spend, $3, $4, $5, whatever $1,000 to protect themselves with early warning fire equipment? So you got to make sure you stand up, A, go check and see what they have. B, tell them I know what you got. Let's go back to the table and let's talk about it. And C, make sure that they hear all the problems with their alarms. Now, I told you there's some maintenance with ionization alarms, and there's maintenance with any kind of alarm, quite frankly, and it goes like this. Carmen, it tells you in the manual, it tells you to test your detector weekly. Do you do that?
No.
Nobody does. It also tells you to replace the detector battery once a year. Now, nowadays, they have the 10-year batteries built into them. Okay? But also it tells you to open the cover and vacuum the dust off the detector once a year. Every manual tells you to go to the alarm with the vacuum and vacuum around the detector. What good is that going to do?
Clean on the inside?
Keep it clean on the outside. But what is the inside parts of the part that detect the fire, right? So if I took your eyeglasses and hung them up on the ceiling, we came back 1 year later, what will be all over your glasses? It'd be greasy, grimy dust. And if I took the best vacuum in the world and put it right up to that greasy, grimy dust, is it going to pull that grease off? No, you got to do what? You got to wash it. So guys, our alarms, you get to do that. Now, I'm talking to you guys on the training call right now. Our alarms, you can do that. You take the filter out. You can wash that filter. You can actually get to the source and make sure that the eyes inside our alarms are always clean. But you don't get to do that with the cheap alarms that are in the store. You can't get to the sensors. You can't clean the sensors. You can't do anything with them. But ours you can. The reason why we can is because we know how important it is to have a good, clean optical sensor in there to see the fire the night that you have one. All right? And the last thing I'm going to tell you is this. It's so important to have dual protection in the rooms that you sleep in. Our alarms had that. You have smoke detection and heat detection. Don't you think that's important? Because you can't determine if you're going to have a slow smoldering fire or a flaming fire. There's no way to determine that. So it's important to have that. But the alarms that these people have inside their home just gives them a false sense of security. And it's our job to go in there and put pure passion into them and teach them that what they have is just not good enough for them the night they have a fire. And it's important for you to say it's not good enough for your family. I should suggest you say that. Say, look, this is not good enough for my family. Having something that fails this way or having something that has all these limitations on it. You know, make sure that you do that. So, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the call today. Hope you picked up even if you picked up one little thing that helped you today, then the goal has been accomplished. I'm going to go on Facebook right now on GHS Promotions, and I'm going to post, say, hey, what did you learn today? Please go in the comment section and at least put a sentence there of what you learned. That'll help the other people as well in the company that are listening today. So, hey, God bless each and every one of you. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week on the next call. Have a good one.